How's it going, laser bruises? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to Ever 17. We're still following a Tanuki round, and I still have no idea what the fuck is going on, but let's go around anyway and hopefully it will all fall into place eventually. Without thinking, he let out a cry. He'd found it. It's that Tanuki. He'd just been told that it was not a Tanuki, but Mew Mew, or a fox-like monkey. But that information had already disappeared from his mind. I've forgotten his name. That doesn't matter though. He's the one that hit me and ran away. He didn't want revenge, but he did want to ask him why he'd done it. Without making a sound, he slowly approached the Tanuki mascot, Mew Mew. And as soon as he got behind it, he quickly grabbed the costume by the head. There. Who are you? I should be asking you that. Oh, it's because we swapped costumes with the girl. Did that girl punch him? Why would you do something like that? Huh? What'd I do? Don't play dumb with me. Switching characters like this is very confusing. I still can't cope with it. We need some kind of big transition so I know I'm switching characters again. I have no idea what you're talking about. You punched me. No, I didn't. I have no idea what you mean. Liar. What, did you forget? I'm not lying. This girl gave me this outfit out of nowhere and... Well, you just met her. When did you change? I just put it on. I just put it on. What are you talking about? But why do this? This... At that point, the Tanuki collapsed. He collapsed in full Mew Mew regalia. What? Hey! Takeshi shook his shoulders, but there was no response. Somebody, come quick, something's not right here. He yelled. Visitors watched from a distance. What's the matter? A female employee had heard the fuss and came running. Huh? You're that girl from before. This guy just collapsed all of a sudden. Let me see. The employee took the pulse of the fallen youth. Takeshi wondered if she had any medical knowledge. He's alright, but we can't leave him here like this. I'll help. Great, thanks. Why had this happened? He had no idea. No idea. Where he was? Where he'd gone? Shaken, feeling ill. He could feel hair from the costume rubbing along both his sides as two people carried him. Oh, we're back to the other person. Rubbing. He wished they'd get the mascot suit off him quickly. The fur felt nasty. It was hot. So hot. So hot he couldn't stand it. The heat made him feel faint. His consciousness felt like it would drift away. Why had this happen? It was strange. So strange. It wasn't him or her. He'd heard a different voice from somewhere. He'd been hauled off to the infirmary. I wonder what it could be. Is he anemic? Maybe it was the mascot suit. Maybe he couldn't get used to wearing it. It's possible. Could be heat exhaustion. Does it look like he'll be okay? It doesn't appear to be anything serious. A little rest and he should be fine. I say, thanks for your help. I'll take it from here. Oh, alright then. He opened the sliding door and left the room. Whew, saving people can sure be stressful. What was it I came here today? A cool breeze was blowing along the walkway. Breeze? But where was it coming from? He wondered where he'd come from. He saw something faintly. A ceiling. Sheets. A bed? He'd been put to sleep on a bed. On a bed in the infirmary. He saw something again. Below the sick room. Bed. Who was on the bed below? Who was this? This isn't me. Of course not. He decided to go further down the hall. The third floor underground, they had called it Dritte Stock. The guys have got to be lined up waiting for a crowded ride somewhere. Hey, sorry, I'm getting in. He dashed into the elevator. The doors reopened slightly and closed again. Huh? One other person had gotten on. A girl. A girl? More like a young woman, I guess. One girl had gotten on. She was about high school age. The elevator floated upward in an instant before descending. There was a faint sound of movement and vibration. And then his eyes met with the girl's. He wondered why. The girl stared at him suspiciously. What? Just who are you? Why are you here? Why are you following me? Shit. I don't know. I don't even know who the fuck you are. Safe. Apologize? I'm sorry. He didn't recall seeing her, but he nodded slightly in apology. Did I do something to offend you? Not really. He was getting more and more confused. Well, at least he's in the same boat as me. I mean, This elevator is for employees only. Oh, I see. Jolting suddenly, the elevator stopped. He looked at the ceiling. The lights flickered unsteadily. What was that? It couldn't be. Couldn't be? Couldn't be what? Couldn't be. He wondered if something had gone terribly wrong. It was strange. Very strange. Who is this? Oh, it's her. We finally met. I've been looking for you this whole time. But his voice didn't reach you. He couldn't hear her voice either. No matter how much he tried. No sounds reached him now. Damn, what's going on? But he saw a figure, faintly. He was able to make sure he could see himself and the girl talking over there. He saw it on the other side. I could see myself over there? He watched. And he watched. It's strange. No, it's odd. If I'm watching me, then who is the me watching me? Something fell out of place. Now he knew the truth and his lips trembled. Who was that? Who could the me over there be? He couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. It was like a dream. It was like he was watching the continuation of a dream. But a dream couldn't have felt so powerfully raw. All of the screaming, and the sound of running feet, the shrill wailing of sirens. That wasn't a dream or an illusion. Couldn't be? Do you know something about this? I don't know anything. Do you know something? How can I know anything? The lights gradually dimmed and finally went out. Why? He had no idea. He didn't know. There was no way he could know. But there on the bed. There. On the bed. There. The bed below. The bed on top. The bed below. Who are... you? Who... Stop. Please stop. Don't come out. Please don't come out. Stay inside. Don't crawl out of there. Stop, please. Stop. No, there was nothing to fear. It was alright. Because there was no longer anyone. Because there was no one there. Hey, who's there? Is there somebody there? I'm here. I'm still in here. Somebody get me out of here. Answer me, please. It's the Tanuki kid. Isn't there anyone out? Isn't there anyone there? Nobody answered. The surroundings were filled with silence. What? Is anybody there? I'm so alone. He bursted with laughter. The ultimate feeling of liberation. There was no one to restrain him now. And he ran. But no one stopped him. Getting there was easy. All that was left was for him to aim at the center. Just take a step. It was simple. He threw his body into the water. He sank. Deeper, deeper and deeper. Sound died away. The embrace of unbelievably pure silence. Not even a beam of light pierced the darkness. All he could hear was repetitive, heavy breathing. He lost himself mind short-circuiting? I think there was meant to be a comma there. His vision narrowed and was overrun with blue. Deep blue. Blue. Something was strange. He wondered if it really was blue. Even though he was perfectly still, it seemed as if his heart was racing. Sweat poured off of him. His breathing was ragged and laboured. Gradually, his consciousness dissolved into the darkness. Black. Endless black. There was no mistaking it this time. Everything was stained black. There were no boundaries to this colour. His ears hurt. The ringing in them wouldn't stop. He felt pressure expanding in his lungs. He felt queasy, sick to his stomach. The air pressure is dropping. I forgot I need to pop my ears. With the pop, the air building inside his ears was released. Damn. Which way is the exit? Pitch black. Nothing moved. He didn't move either. There wasn't any sign of a breeze. He didn't hear anything. Just echoes from something invisible. Time froze to a stop. If he stopped here, he felt like he would forget that he was even alive. It was his intuition. Only a little more. No, it was no good. He had to get out. But he didn't even know which direction to go. He had to get himself out of this darkness. He had to... But what could he do? What could... He didn't know. Just then, he felt a faint, warm light. Light? A blade of light slicing through the flat world of darkness. And he knew. The direction was over there. and that there might be a way out, if he could get over there. Oh, we got another save point. Who am I is a good start. I don't know where I was, but I quietly opened my eyes. Why is it blue now? The next thing I knew, I was on a bed. The ceiling was so white it was slightly blinding. It smelled of disinfectant. I wonder where I was. Are you awake now? A shadow passed above me on the bed. I wondered who it could be. No, wait a minute. Somewhere, it felt like I'd met this person somewhere before. How you doing? You look alright anyway. Who is it? I know her. I was sure that I knew her. Still, I couldn't put my finger on any one thing about her that I knew. The more I thought about it, the more the area around my temples pounded with pain. Oh, I guess it's no good then. Does your head hurt? I pressed my temples with the fingers of both hands, nodding slowly. I see. Just wait a second, alright? I'll try to find some painkillers. She laughed sweetly and stepped away from me. Are we waking up after being in the tanuki suit? I raised myself up and looked around. The room was completely white, with a row of beds tidily lined up in a row. Looking behind me, there was a curved glass window in the wall. I got off the bed and put on my shoes, which were neatly arranged below me. I approached the window. Outside, as far as the eye could see, there was one endless sheet of blue. Transparent waves of light swayed gently in the deep, dense navy mist. I put both of my hands on the wall and pushed my face up against the glass. Just then, a flash of silver light darted across my vision. For an instant, I was afraid, then I noticed it was just a fish. This is the middle of the ocean. What's the matter? At some point, the girl had come to stand beside me. Of course it is. This is the Lemieux infirmary. Lemieux? The instant I heard that word, a flash of searing light reappeared in the back of my mind. That's right. That's right. I'd come to Lemieux. The theme park Lemieux floated on the ocean, and I'd been walking around Lemieux with her. There were ancient ruins and the whale floating in the darkness, the jellyfish gondola and merry-go-round. But why had I come to this place? To Lemieux? Had I come for fun? Of course I had. This is a theme park after all. But was that right? Was that really the reason? Violent head pains struck me again. I shook my head again and again, my face distorted from the pain. Hey, you alright? Shouldn't you rest a little more? She helped support me as I returned to the bed. I brought you some headache medicine. She held 2 white pills in her left hand. In her right was a cup filled with water. White pills. 2 of them. Oh my god, every time I see a choice like this, I crap my pants. I'm worried. Okay? Thanks. I took the pills and gulped them down. It's probably just mild barotraumas or decompression sickness. It happens to a lot of visitors. They just feel ill all of a sudden and get carted in here. As she said this, she slyly took the cup from my hand. I sank my head back into the fluffy pillows. It's a bit of a stretch coming down here anyway. People with no experience just jumping to 6 atmospheres for long periods of time. Sheesh. The air pressure in the Earth's atmosphere is made for people to live comfortably. Of course, people are going to have bad reactions to breathing air this thick. Air and first love both should be light, no doubt about that. Coffee and your first time. Well, those of course are better thick. Huh? She touched my face with the palm of her hand. The back of her slender fingers struck my cheek. The smooth texture of her skin slipped down from my neck to above my chest, stopping there. It's alright, you don't seem to have a fever. She smiled at me. Somehow I felt all embarrassed. I pulled the bed cover up to my eyes and hid my face. I'm not surprised after what she said. Just rest like that for a while, okay? I'll go see what's going on outside. Outside? Yes, how should I put this? While you're asleep, it seems there was a bit of trouble. Oh, here we go. Well, I'll explain a bit later. Anyway, for now just rest and don't worry about anything, okay? Seeing me nod, she walked away from the bed. Hey, wait a second. What? Just let me ask you one thing. What might that be? Why am I here? I just told Cadet that this is the Lemieux infirmary, right? You passed out all of a sudden at the kiosk on this Waite stock. And some guy and I hauled you here. You don't remember what happened? Kiosk. At the kiosk. In front of a big window. A sweet smell. Something covering my body. The lemur mascot. It was you. You're the one that hit me. That's right, I remember. And I was struck dizzy. Like something being stolen away. I lost consciousness and... So do you remember? Yes. Do you have any other questions? I shook my head and answered, well, be a good boy and wait here, alright? I'll be right back. She patted my head gently and began walking for the door, while I turned my head to stare at her back. My name's Yu. My last name is Tanaka. My real name is much longer, though, but it's such a pain. Just call me Yu. I remembered her words. Yu turned at the door and looked back at me, lifting her hand to wave, and left the infirmary. All alone inside the room, it was quiet like time had stopped. I didn't know if the medicine had started to work or not, but my headache was completely gone. As I stared at the ceiling, I thought about the events leading to my being in that bed. Before I passed out, I'd been walking around the Lemieux with you. We'd gone to a shop where we were talking. Then we rode an egg-shaped elevator up 2 floors. Before I'd met you, I'd been in a small park. I was on a bench in that park. I was waiting for someone. Who? Who was I waiting for? I don't know. My memory was a fog, and thinking about events after that, my mind just seemed to cloud over. I shook my head several times trying to clear it and concentrate. Why was I here? Why had I come to Lemieux? Did I come alone, or was I with someone else? What was I doing before I came to Lemieux? How had I arrived at this amusement park? It's no use, I can't remember. The thread of my memory was cut off right there. That time on the park bench enjoying ice cream, I couldn't get beyond that. It was like getting lost in a forest and going to turn back, only to discover that everything had gone dark. It felt very strange. It felt like I was just in the middle of a dream. I felt like I'd lost something very important, but I didn't know what that something was. And not being able to move forward made me feel that it was specifically because I'd lost something important. I felt an unpleasant sense of something lacking. And this sense of something not quite right irritated me. I took my right hand out from under my blanket and stared spatially at the palm of my hand. The countless wrinkles etched there, intertwining, reaching out like the branches of a tree in complicated patterns. The pinkish skin, and buried deeper, the slightly blue veins, and 5 fingers. And my hand always had this strange shape. Bizarre thoughts hit me from nowhere. No, my right palm was no different than it had ever been. What did that girl give me? I'm definitely high on something now. Yet for some reason I felt that I had to doubt even that most natural of facts. Maybe just possibly until a few hours ago, I might have had 6 fingers. Or 7. Maybe even 8. I felt like something was wrong. Could I have been feeling this way because I lost something special? I opened and closed my hand, just repeating that meaningless, simple exercise. I wandered in the forest, searching for that one lost finger. The door to the infirmary opened and Yu returned. Yu dashed into the room and ran toward me, as if she were going to bowl me over. What did you give me, lady? I'm just sitting there staring at my hand now, thanks to those pills you gave me. What are you doing? This is no time to be sleeping. She shouted at me suddenly. Completely clueless, I simply lay there, stunned. Get up quickly. He peeled away the blanket and dragged me off the bed. What's the matter? I don't know, but anyway, we got to escape out of here. You had a panicked expression. The relaxed look that had been on her face just a while ago had vanished completely. Escape? To where? There's only one place. The floating island on the ocean. Why? Because I say, don't ask questions. We're escaping because we have to escape. There was something urgent and powerful in Yu's words. Yu dragged me along. From her powerful grip, I felt a sharp sense of crisis. I hurriedly slipped on my sneakers and fled out of the room with her. The instant we emerged into the sprawling corridor, my feet stopped. I sucked in my breath, my body froze, and I just stared at the lights spreading before me. There was something missing. People, sound, warmth. No way, this can't be. The words I muttered were devoured by the eerie silence. Looking back and forth in the corridor, even in the furthest direction, there was no sign of people. Just the man-made walls on both sides. Unnatural light, whiter than white, shone from the ceiling and gave off a cold light. Why? Why isn't anyone here? Get it now? That's why we have to escape. Everyone. Where could everyone be? Do kidding? Do kidding they're playing hide and seek? I don't know what that means. Anyway, there's no time to think about it now. We have to get out of here ASAP, or... Saying that, you again tugged at my arm. Hunched over on the verge of tripping, I let you lead me through the wide corridors as we ran. Our footsteps were the only sound echoing in the quiet complex. The more we ran, the more out of breath I became. My heart was pounding. Really, everything just felt like a dream. A nightmare in which some unknown monster was chasing us everywhere. With no clue as to the identity of the monster, nor why we needed to escape. Hair-raising fear rose within me, and I was powerless to do anything. I simply cowered. In a world devoid of people, among faded colours, just Yu's palms grasped at my arm. Only the certainty of her touch, that one point of contact, allowed me to retain any connection with reality. Finally, we arrived in front of the elevator. Yu rushed to the front of the door and pushed the up button. The button was unlit. Oh no way, you gotta be kidding! Why does this thing stop? Yu struck the button repeatedly, but nothing happened. The light stayed off. There was no sign the floor display above the elevator doors was functioning either. Hey, aren't there any emergency stairs or anything? Yu looked back and shifted her eyes around as if she were thinking. Follow me. Saying only that, she dashed off. Straight down that long, stretching corridor, Yu turned her head to the left and right looking for something. It looked like she soon found what she was looking for, and she headed towards it single-mindedly. A ladder next to it was written in strange red letters, emergency exit, with an arrow pointing upward. At the other end of the ladder was the ceiling and a sturdy-looking door with a round-shaped handle attached to it. Are there emergency stairs on the other side? Without answering, Yu started climbing the ladder. She turned the handle and opened the door. Now hurry. This is an emergency escape corridor. There are emergency stairs that run along it. Yu told me this quickly while we ran. The corridor stretched in a gentle arc, so that the far end was not visible. The scenery was repetitive, and I began to have delusions that I was running in place. Where in the world am I right now? How far do I have to run? I just had to trust in Yu and chase after her back. Suddenly Yu turned right. Inertia kept me going forward. Afraid I would miss my turn, I grabbed the corner with my hand, yanking myself around and chasing after Yu again. The route had become straight. Immediately to the left, a green-coloured sign for emergency stairs was lit up. Below the light was a closed door. Yu jumped toward the door handle. This is stiff. This is so... Yu was desperately trying to turn the handle. It won't open? It'll open. It'll open for sure. I'll make it open. Well, don't just stand there. Get over here and help me. Spurred by her words, I firmly grabbed onto the handle. I tried with all my might to turn it in the direction the arrow said open. Damn, what is with this? It won't budge an inch. It was stuck fast, almost as if it had been welded shut. It didn't look as if it would move to the right or left. We'll try and turn it when I say ready, go. Okay, here we go. Ready, go. With that, I threw my complete weight onto the handle. Damn, open! Just then it happened. A sound arose up from inside the earth, echoing heavily from somewhere. Yu and I relaxed our grips and looked at each other. What was that sound? The walls shook. A small vibration shook the handle we had grabbed. The lights on the ceiling flashed irregularly. The metal meshed floor was clanging against itself. An earthquake? It couldn't be. We're in the middle of the ocean, after all. The vibration gradually increased in intensity. The squeaking sound of steel against steel shocked our ears. Yu and I held our breath, waiting still. We tried to focus, sharpening our senses, our eyes wandering the void. A low growling sound, like the groan of a monster approaching. A voice filled hate and rage turned into a howling roar, sending shivers up my spine. Where is that coming from? Huh? Where is it coming from? What? Yu's voice approached a scream. Her face lost all colour and her lips went dry. The eyes behind her silky swaying bangs looked as if they were about to cry. Silky swaying bangs? Wind? It's wind! Muttering this, I looked in the direction of the wind. Down the extremely long corridor, something appeared pushing and vying for space. No way. You're kidding. It couldn't be. Water? A monster came crashing towards us at a terrifying speed, mixed in a roiled spray of water. Oh shit, we got a fucking CG cutscene? A CG cutscene. Damn, son. There was no doubt. There was a rushing behemoth of water, a massing froth of waves. There was no time to be shouting. You and I started sprinting desperately. We turned left at the corner and ran, and ran and ran. The voice of the monster was right on our heels, but we couldn't look back. If we looked back, we felt like we would be swallowed up. Something beyond fear or terror made our minds go completely blank. We couldn't even think. We could only run desperately for our lives. My shoulder bumped against the wall of the narrow corridor. It looked like my foot would get caught up in the bent metal flooring. Avoiding the pipes that hung down, we leapt over and raised entrance of watertight door and ran. We just ran on and on. This is going to be a dream. For an instant, that thought cut across my mind. In a world without people and faded colours, a drooling monster was reaching its bluish-white arms toward my neck. We were spit out with a mass of water into a sprawling room. We were turned head over heel in the violent water. Several times, maybe several dozen times, over and over again, until finally my body stopped moving. Ouch! I peeled my body from the soaking floor. Water was still pouring in from the far side of the open emergency entrance. Water was flowing down like a waterfall and spreading smoothly towards the far corridor, as if it were crawling across the floor. That's right, what about you? Just as I thought that and looked back, you was standing up. You okay? I shook the soaked Yu's shoulders and looked into her eyes. They were empty. Her purplish blue lips were quivering. Yu was completely dazed. Yu, hang on! The level of water had continued to rise during this short time. What should I do? What should I... Just then it happened. The watertight doors at the four sides of the room began to close at once. The doors are closing. Ever so slowly, letting off a dull sound. Yu? I tried shouting and even shaking her harder, but there was no response. Rather, Yu's body went limp and she collapsed to the floor. Hey, quit goofing around, come on! I took Yu's arm and put it over my shoulder, lifting her up. I started walking toward the nearest watertight door. Yu was heavy like a stone. Water pooled around both my legs and I couldn't move forward as fast as I wanted. Gradually, a steel partition slid down from above. Another one came up from below, pushing away any water as it moved. The stopping up water swirled around. As the width between the doors narrowed, the water level increased. Come on, make it in time. Please, just make it in time. Sadly, the door didn't stop moving. There was only a small opening left for us to escape. Whoop. There's no way I'm gonna die here. Giving a shout, I ran, pushing the water out of the way. Yu's slumping body weighed heavily on my shoulder, but I couldn't let go of her arm. I pulled together with all my power. Almost there. Almost right there. With one hand, I grabbed hold of the edge of the... Just barely. Just a few seconds after I'd squeezed our bodies through the narrow gap, the watertight door closed completely. We placed our backs against the closed door and collapsed. There was almost no sense of relief. Both of my legs were shaking, my heart was beating like it would explode. We spent a few moments there in a stupor. The next thing I knew, the seawater had mostly disappeared from the floor. That's not to say it was completely dry, it was still wet. And my body and Yu's body... achoo! We were still soaked. Are you alright? Huh? What? You were really out of it until just a second ago. Who was? You were. Me? I was. Yu stood up and took her wet hair in hand, wiping away the water droplets around her eyes with the palm of her hand. Oh, that's right. The water carried us away. Carried and carried and carried us away. And what happened? We got swept into the next corridor over, and then all of a sudden the watertight doors started to close. But you were all spacey, and to make things worse, you fainted. So how did we get out? I got us out. You? Yep. Really? Well, you don't believe me? But... You, well... You seem like... more like the type that needs help rather than dishes help out. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, it's a joke, I'm just kidding. We should have left her in there. If you really did save us, I suppose I should thank you. Thank you. She bowed her head slightly. Do you really mean it? Of course. I guess. You guess? I said I was joking. You take everything so seriously, you're just an innocent young'un. Oh, whatever. Well, I suppose I owe you one anyway. Owe me? When I collapsed at the shop, you helped me, right? So now we're even. When I said that, your face lit up in a smile. Or Yu's face, sorry. Anyway, enough of that. Let's hurry up and find an exit. Yeah. You never know where there might be another flooding. Yu was checking the ceiling and walls as she started walking. I followed along behind her. We cut across the wide room, heading for the exit. There was a big empty mechanical merry-go-round, without music or the voices of children playing, only its bright lights glowed in a lonely sort of way. Hey, that reminds me, I haven't even asked your name yet. Huh? Name, your name. Oh yeah, that. My name is... And? I didn't know. I didn't know my name. My name. There's no way. It couldn't be. I should know it. It's my name. My very own name. Name. Then all of a sudden, a shock shot through my whole body. What's the matter? My head hurt. It seemed like it would split right open. I held my head in both arms and crumpled forward. Are you alright? Grinding my teeth, I desperately tried to endure the pain. Darkness blanketed my eyes. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't hear anything. The darkness invaded my brain and glommed together. It was a glob that would devour my brain and dissolve it into mush. Hey, hang in there. Hey! I didn't know. My name. Who could I possibly be? The next thing I knew, I was on a bed. The ceiling was so white it's slightly blinding. It smelled of disinfectant. Are you awake now? What the fuck is going on? A shadow passed above me on the bed. You looked at me as if you were worried. This is back to the beginning, thanks to you. The beginning? The infirmary, huh? Hey, next time you decide to go and keel over, can you do it somewhere a little closer to this room? Because it really was a pain hauling you piggyback all the way here. Sorry. Oh, it's alright, you don't have to apologize. By the way, do you remember your name? Name. That's right, my name. Oh, hold on a sec. You don't have to try and force yourself to remember. Yeah, that's what nearly killed us last time. I don't want you getting like you did before, right? You said it very carefully. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. So just calm down. I want you to relax and answer them. Alright? Sure. First, do you know today's date? Today is the 1st. May 1st, right? You remember the date. So how about your age? Age. Your birthday will do, either way. I tried hard to pull together threads of my memory, my age, my birthday. When I started to think about it, my temples began to throb. Hey, no straining yourself. If you can't remember, then you just can't remember, just say so. But that didn't mean I could just stop thinking about it. I endured the headache as I felt like I wandered lost through a forest. There had to be an exit hidden somewhere, I just didn't know where. Okay, I got it. So you don't remember your name, age, or birthday, right? How about your address, or telephone number? If not those, then how about your family, friends, anything? So you can't remember. It was like you said, I didn't have any memories of anything. A sense of something not being right gnawed at my mind. There was something closer to a sense of loss. And it felt like I'd lost the bulk of my existence. Like someone had stolen me away, and the me that was left was just an empty shell. The me that was here, who knew if it was even the real me. The instant that thought went through my mind, I was frozen by an icy wave of unease. Scared, isolated, lonely. You? I grabbed firmly onto Yu's hand. Her warm palm. The warmth was the only thing that's saving me. It's alright now. What are you, a baby? Stop with the sad face. She shot me a smile and squeezed my hand back. I don't think that amnesia is all that uncommon. Amnesia? You don't have any memory. So that's memory loss or amnesia, right? Of course it is. I wonder what caused it. The air pressure change, or maybe you hit your head somewhere. Or some severe mental shock, maybe. Like riding a crazy ride and maybe you panicked or something. But don't worry. It's probably just temporary. It'll come back. Think so? For sure. Of course, if you're in a major accident and you had severe trauma to the brain, that'd be a whole different thing. But that doesn't seem to be the case. You put a hand on my hair and gave me a smile so bright I almost needed sunglasses. That smile flooded into my heart, wiping away the remains of the unease that was swirling there. So, do you want to get going? I could sing you a lullaby and tuck you in, but unfortunately we don't have time to relax. You understand, right? I nodded and got off the bed. You started walking for the door. My eyes stopped at the bluish ribbon on Yu's back. The ribbon seemed to have taken on water and glittered brightly like the wings of a newborn fairy. Alright, well, we're gonna wrap this one up here, I think, because we are out of time for today, but shit's getting interesting. Looks like we are committed to a character now. So, well, doesn't mean we're not gonna jump back and forth, but the jumping back and forth seemed to have stopped for now. And something about our memory, and it's hurting us, and she's weirding out sometimes as well. I don't know. I'm starting to understand some of it. A couple more episodes and I'm sure we'll be at least at the comprehension stage where we can understand what the fuck is going on to some extent. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.